I was looking at some earrings on Pinterest the other day and I came across those. I thought those were really cute. And so today I'm going to try to somewhat replicate those. I'm going to click on shapes and I'm going to select a square and a triangle. Now I want my earrings to be 1 inch wide, so we're going to change the width of the triangle, and then I'm going to change the width and the height on the square so that it's a rectangle, so I guess I need to unlock it there. So we'll go to 1 inch and let's go 2.5 inches. I can always make them shorter. Okay, so let's make this big so we can really see the details. Now I want my shapes to where they're barely touching. I think they're touching. We'll find out when we weld them. And then, oh, you know what? I don't like how pointed that is. Okay, so let's get out of that. I want to unlock this and make it a lot shorter. Okay, that looks good. Now notice it's stretched. So I'm going to go back, change it back to 1 inch, and then I'll go ahead and lock it. Okay, so back to what we were doing. We're going to have those just barely touch. I'm not sure if they're touching. Then align center horizontally. Now notice that it looks like that triangle is off the edge. Sometimes it really turns out fine when you weld it, because as long as you centered them horizontally, it should be fine, but let's see. We'll click weld. Okay, they weren't really touching. So the shapes are welded together, but since they weren't really touching, it's not one continuous cut. So let's move this guy up just a little bit more. Let's see if I got him enough there. Select both shapes, align, center horizontally. Again, it looks like the point is hanging off. Let's see what happens. Weld. Okay, but then notice here, it looks fine. So sometimes, even though you use the align function and they don't look quite right when you weld them, they turn out okay. So try it. If they turn out okay, great. If they don't, you just have to adjust. Now the other thing I want to do is, I don't like this point here. I want to just knock a little bit of that off, just barely clip a little bit off. So I'm going to select shapes, square, make this guy a lot smaller. Whoops, that didn't work out. So I want to just barely have him over the point of the earring. Let's see if I got him far enough down. We'll click slice. I think that looks good. So I can just highlight everything in this stack and get rid of it all at once. Now I need to decide the angle of my earring. I think I'll add my fringe first. So to do the fringe, I'm going to click on shapes. Now I don't know if you can see in this video that there is a score line right down here. So if you can't see that far when the video comes out, see octagon right under it. There's a broken line. It's called score line. So I'm going to click on that. And then once you do that, you can change it up here to a cut line. So if you watch that, it was a broken line and now it's a solid line. Okay, that's pretty long though. We don't need it that long. Let's shorten that up some. Okay, I'm going to have to make it long again because I want the fringe to start just about even with where the triangle ends. So about right there. So now I can see I made it too short. Okay, for now I want 8 lines. And so I'm going to duplicate this 7 times. So there's my first line, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to highlight all of the lines. And then I'll align them at the top. Then I'm going to unlock. Okay. Fine. There we go. All right, go back to my lines. Get them all selected again. Then I'll unlock them. Now I want to make the width of my lines 1 inch. Now notice how they are all equal distances apart. As long as after you duplicate them, you don't move one of them, you just select them all, they will stay equal distances apart, and that makes it really easy. So my lines are all selected. Now I'm going to add to it my shape. So I'm holding my command button down and then clicking on the shape. I'll go to Align, Center Horizontally. Oh, big boo-boo. Okay, so let's get all those lines again. Okay, I'm going to group them. Now, if I add my shape to it, I can line and then center horizontally. Now, there's 2 unnecessary lines, the 2 on the outside. I only had those in it because I knew my shape was 1 inch and I wanted all these lines to be spaced out correctly. If you didn't have those 2 outside lines, then your distance from this cut line to the edge might not be exactly the same as the distance from this cut line to this cut line. And so that's the only reason I had the extra lines. Now I'm going to have to ungroup them, and then I'm going to select the line on the right and delete it, and the line on the left and delete it. Okay, so now it's time to decide on the angle. So I'm going to get shapes, square, make him quite a bit smaller. I'm going to change the square to white. It's just visually easier for me to tell if I like the angle or not when it's a different color. Okay, so we're going to turn it until we like what we see. All right. Let's just go a little steeper. I like that. So I'm holding down Command and clicking on my shape, and now I can hit Slice. Now I don't know. Oh, there's the lines. Okay. See, I don't know where the lines went. Now notice they didn't get any shorter. That slice feature doesn't work on them. And so we send my earring to the back. So I'm just going to have to shorten each one of these lines independently. And I want to make sure it's at least as long as the earring, and I'm going to have it slightly longer. So let me show you. If I click to make it right now, look, my cut lines are way over here. So what I need to do is just select everything and attach, and now we should be good. There we are. So lastly, I want to select my earring. I'll duplicate, and then I'll flip horizontal, and that way the earring on one side of my head angles toward my face or away from my face, and the earring on the other side does the same thing. So let's go ahead and click Make It. I'm going to move them down so I have room to tape around them. Click Continue. I'm going to make my first pair out of leather. So I'll browse materials, type in leather, genuine leather, click Done. So I need to make sure that my star wheels are all the way to the right, or they're at least not going to go over my leather. I'll use default pressure, and then I already have my deep point blade loaded in clamp B. So I'll change the camera angle and we'll keep working. I'm going to start by putting down some clear contact paper. It really doesn't matter that it's clear, it could be any color, but this just happens to be clear. And I have it sticky side up. That will help protect my mat from getting a lot of nasty stuff on it. And then I'm going to try this leather. It's not super thick, but when I snipped out the corner, it was kind of hard to cut, so I'm not sure if the machine's going to like this or not, but I'm going to try it. Putting it pretty side down. Then I'm going to go ahead and put some tape on this just to help hold it in place. So I already have my deep point blade in, but let's check it, make sure it's clean. Okay, let's see what we get. Uh-oh. Well, that wasn't good. Uh-oh. Okay, what the heck? Okay, I'm just going to pull it out, turn it off. So apparently during the cut, when it was cutting this fringe, at some point one of these lifted up and got caught. So let's see, hopefully my machine still works. Let's turn it back on. So I'm going to change my approach and cut denim. Okay. I thought I heard something break when I was dealing with that, so I hope my machine still works. Let's see. So apparently the machine's not broken. That's good. So let's pull these off. Now I've noticed that when I pull things off the mat, they tend to get curled. So as I pull on those, they went back to normal. Otherwise I could put them under the iron and that would do it. Now these earrings were treated, or the denim that I used for these earrings was treated with a DIY mixture of school glue and water. It's just equal parts school glue and water. I've shown it on videos before. Okay, so those are really cute. We'll go ahead and put our hardware on these. And this is just a leather punch tool that I got at Harbor Freight. Super inexpensive. I use the 5/64 size punch. And so you just put it on your fabric about where you think you want it. And don't squeeze real tight yet. So there, I have that on my fabric, but I want to make sure that it's really exactly where it needs to be. Okay, I think I like it there. So you just punch and there you have a hole. Same thing on the second one. I'm going to pull my fringe apart so you can tell there's even fringe there. So I feel like these are going to have cut really nicely. Now, so you can probably see the stain that was left on my contact paper, and that's a good reason to use it under this cork. Just kind of pull the fringe apart again so you can see there's actually fringe there. I'm going to use these copper fish hooks. Now the loops on these copper fish hooks look pretty small, so I'm going to have to get really nice and tight up against the top of the earring, but not so much that it splits out. Okay. I'd rather have to use a jump ring than have it split out. Now, unlike the silver fish hooks, the end of this metal is on the side closest to me. So I'll just hold on to the rest of the earring and twist. And just twist it back into place. And it, like the other one, is not closed up. Hopefully you can see that. Very gently, holding this little ball thing out of the way, just press down a little bit until it closes. Okay, that worked out fine. And that freely moves over it, so we're good there. Now I want to try one more pair. I want to go back to leather. Let my machine redeem itself, hopefully. Okay, this is a really pretty kind of rose gold metallic leather that has kind of a pebbled texture. It's pretty smooth on the back, so I think this might make a nice cut. And it is so smooth that I'm not even going to put anything under it. I don't think that the fibers on this are going to come off on my mat. We will stick this down really well, and then, like always, I'll add some tape. Especially, you see this little corner here? It's not on the sticky stuff, and so it's sticking up, and I think that would get caught under my machine. That could be bad, so either cut that off or tape it down. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is take my blade out. And then I'm going to try to slide that out. Yeah, I just don't understand. The only thing I can think of is if my mat is not sticky enough. If this doesn't work, I will not be cutting fringe out of leather anymore. Okay, that did the trick. So my other mat just wasn't sticky enough. And so the leather, as it was cutting, was slightly lifting up, and then it was getting caught in there. And so if you're going to do fringe with an actual blade, maybe not so much the rotary cutter, I'm not really sure. Make sure that you have a really nice stick, especially if it's leather, because there is so much pressure putting on the leather because it's harder to cut. The cut looks good. It looks like it's hanging on in one little place right there. No, that one didn't. And look, no fibers left on my mat. This is just really pretty leather. Like I said, the back of it is very smooth. And when the back of your leather is really smooth, it doesn't leave a lot of fibers. Let's do a little surgery on this one. There's my earrings. Now, what color of hardware do I want to use on these? That would just be wild. Ooh, I kind of like it. Let's go with it. When they're all bunched up, it looks really bright and crazy, but you just get one out, and it's not so bad. Okay, this is my first time to ever use these, so on these, the end of the wire is over on this side. Oh, these don't have the little ball thing on them. Oh, I guess I need to cut my holes first. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the one I already twisted. Okay, I think on these I'm going to have to add a little jump ring. Let me see. Yeah, that won't work. See, it has to be over to the side, and that doesn't work. So, let's go ahead and twist it back. So when you use the one jump ring, you don't even have to open this part. So let me get it back where it goes. So it's back where it should be. Now if you're only using one jump ring, you have to twist this That looks good. I have this little jump ring tool here. If you don't have one of those, just use 2 pairs of needle nose pliers. So let's find the opening. It's at the top. So you put this into the smallest little slot that you can fit it in on this tool, and then just twist it open. Now we can put the fishhook on, and then let's see, it needs to be this way, so I'll just drop that on. And then get a real good grip on the whole side with your needle nose pliers, and then just twist this back into place. And you can see it's closed up really nicely. Very cute. So you could wear them where they're going down away from your face, or I think I like them this way, where they're kind of pointing in toward your chin. There's our final product. Sorry it took so long and I had some fails, but I'd rather it happen to me and be able to pass on what I learned from it than for it to happen to you. Stay safe and healthy out there, guys. And I'll see you on the next video.